education and improving learners' outcomes of students. Julius is a distinguished leader in educational technology, renowned for his commitment to advancing inclusive education and empowering the next generation through innovative tech solutions. As the founder of Learner's Corner EduTech Hub, Julius has been instrumental in developing cutting-edge tools and strategies that enhance access to quality education and improve learning outcomes. His work empowers educators to drive meaningful change in classrooms and support institutions with essential technical infrastructure. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Julius Ilori.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much, Mr. Denny, for that introduction. I'm still trying to look at where I'm going to focus on today. Is it this camera or this one? Okay. All right. Good morning once again, and thanks so much for the opportunity to be here. I'm most grateful for this platform. Once again, my name is Julius Ilori, and it's a great honor and privilege to be speaking to us today right from Lagos, Ikeja. Today's session is going to be based on enhancing youth employability tools and strategy. Today, I'm going to be speaking about some of the strategies that we can adopt as young people who are trying to find opportunities in our various area of focus. And I will also be sharing a few case studies, success stories that a lot of people have used and it has worked for them. And I'm really looking forward to having a wonderful engagement, and I look forward to learning from everyone's contribution after the presentation. Thank you so much. So let's get started. I'm going to start by sharing one of the most interesting things I learned recently this morning on my way to this center. Every morning, it's my daily routine to listen to the John Maxwell podcast on Spotify. And one of the things he said this morning during this morning session was about attitude. He mentioned something around attitude as an important factor that can help a young person or anybody succeed in life. And that really resonates with me because I strongly believe that attitude is very important. How we react to information, how we react to anything we do, right? And today is another session we're possibly going to talk about some of the things that we want to learn today. And if we don't have the right towards what we're going to talk about today, or the right attitude toward everything I'm going to say today, it's just going to be the individual coming for a session and then going without taking steps after the program. So I want to encourage us, and I want to try my best to motivate us to listen and pay attention, and also have the right attitude towards everything we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to start on that note. So let's get started. Enhancing youth employability tools and strategy. So I'm going to start by speaking more around job search strategy. Let's just go straight to it. Job search strategy are important strategy young people or anybody who is looking for opportunity can adopt to seek for opportunities, to seek for jobs, to seek for anything you want. It can be fellowship, it can be programs, it can be jobs, it can be internship, it can be anything. And one of the most interesting way or strategy we can adopt is to research industries and companies. I intentionally started my presentation talking about this because I strongly believe that we need to learn how to do research, about whatever we want to do, right? If you're looking for an opportunity, maybe in the aviation sector, you possibly need to learn more about how opportunities comes out and, gets published in such sector, right? So it's important we understand the importance of research, companies, industries that we are really interested in. A lot of people, we come and say, oh, I have this need, I want to work in this sector, but you ask them one question about the sector they don't know, right? So it's just beyond having a BSc or having a master's degree on your CV, right? You must have knowledge about the industry and company in which you're trying to gain access to or opportunities within. To navigate the job market effectively, young professionals need to learn how to run research and companies that align with the skills and interests. Number two is to tailor our applications. A lot of people submit the same application for every role. Like you just upload the same CV every time for every opportunity that you see on LinkedIn or you see anywhere, right? It's important to tailor our applications, to specific job roles that we come across online, we recommend it to us. So this is another important strategy that we need to start thinking about. How do we tailor our CV? You know, for example, I personally have more than 10 different type of my CV, right? You know, that I use for different anything I'm applying for, maybe job or anything. So I have the short version, I have like a 1 page, I have like a 2 page, I have like 3 page, I have like 4 page of, I mean, the same CV, you know, but it contains different information about anything I'm applying for. For example, if I'm applying for a fellowship, you know, most times fellowship programs will require you to have like a comprehensive, they want to see what you have done in terms of practicing leadership in your country or your community, right? So I have like links to every of these I've done, publications, you know, there's like a last page that I usually create, which is more for my reference, and I make sure I hyperlink those links. So when you click on the document, like a PDF document, you have to read more about those things I've done, and it gives you a bit of assurance about my work. I'm still going to come back to this, you know, in the course of this presentation. Number three is to stay persistent and organized. You know, a lot of people will try once and they will want to give up. You know, it is very important to stay persistent in anything you find beyond just jobs. Life itself is difficult, right? We must continue to stay persistent. We must continue to push. We must continue to put in the effort. You know, don't try once and maybe you fail and then you think that's it. No, you know, you have to consistently continue to try. The more you fail, the closer you are getting to that opportunity that you're looking out to get, right? And also staying organized. I'll use an example of myself. Few years ago when I applied for the Mandela Fellowship, I applied in, my first application was in 2019 or 2018. And I mean, I didn't get selected. You know, I applied 4 times for this opportunity and the rejection kept on coming. You know, at the point I had this rejection box, like my folder for rejection files. But one of the things I did was to continue to improve my application over the years until I got into the program. So we may not get everything we want at the first try. So it's important to stay persistent and organized. You know, tracking your applications. If you apply to a company today, you want to follow up, look for the people that works in the organization on LinkedIn, you send an email to them, try to just stay, you know, continue to chase information, continue to chase, you know, updates from them, even if you don't hear officially from the company. And the last one is utilizing resources. You know, resources are very, very important. For example, this program this morning is a very powerful resource and help us to position ourselves, you know, that can help us to also connect with like minds that we are currently sitting with in our various centers. So it's important to learn how to utilize resources like the American space. The American space has huge resources that we can join. So we must maximize all of these resources. There's a lot of job fairs, career fairs, that happens out there. You know, there's a lot of recruitment agency out there that recruits. You possibly want to do a lot of research about them to see how you can, you know, leverage their resource to gain access to the opportunity you're looking out for. So building a standout resume, it's a constant question that people talk about or ask every time, you know, when we have sessions like this, you know, like how do I build a standing out resume? How do I have a resume that is going to help me get the job, right? So there's a lot of format of resume out there, I mean, that we can adopt, you know, fine-tune it into the need that we have, right? So instead of you copying and pasting somebody's CV, which I don't think we do. I don't know if people still do that, but I don't think that is the right practice, you know, copying and pasting other people's CV. You know, you can get a template online and then rebuild it into your own portfolio, like how you want people to understand whatever information you are passing across to them via your CV. You know, concise and tailored CV, you know, is one of those things we need to look into, like very, very concise and tailored to that job role that you're applying for. For example, if you're applying for the role of an accountant, you possibly want to ensure that your experience, your activities, your strengths, your skills are aligning to what they are looking for in an accountant, right? You know, you're applying for a software engineer, I mean, you possibly have to put a link to your portfolio, to the works you have done. So the person that is reviewing your CV can check you out and see everything that you are doing, and possibly make a decision about recruiting you or not. Be concise and tailor it to the job. I said this much earlier about tailoring our applications to the job. So if you apply for an accountant, I mean, you possibly want to use the CV you use for a front desk officer for an accountant, right? You possibly have to rework that CV. You have to ensure that it aligns with the need of that job. And it's so interesting these days. We have a lot of AI tools that can help with all of this, helping you to like, just copy and paste the job need, maybe from LinkedIn or from everywhere, put it on maybe ChatGPT. Is going to help you redesign it, to suit the need of the company. Now, these are some of the things AI is coming to do for us. I mean, simplifying the process of creating some of these CVs or putting some of our files, our documents together. Number two is highlight relevant information. Experience is key, like relevant experience on the job. You possibly want to highlight it, your experience, your skills, your achievements. For example, you're somebody who has been volunteering with a specific organization, and you have done a lot of programs, successful programs. You possibly want to put it on your CV. You want to write it there so they know that, oh, this person is not just submitting empty CV. A lot of people will just submit CV without the experience, right? And experience might not be you working in a company. It can be your NYC experience, the projects you did during your NYC, and some of the things you have done while you are still in school. So basically, experience is something we can gain, even from church, even from mosque or anywhere you worship. Working in the media department of a church that's also an experience, right? You want to outline that on your CV, your public speaking skills, your ability to write, your ability to speak fluently. These are relevant things that you need to outline. Your ability to work with people, emotional intelligence. These are some of those things that you possibly want to highlight, on your CV, so you can get the attention of the recruiter. And number three is use of action words. Use action words to describe responsibilities and impact. I think this is also very, very important. Like, you are for a job, you want to sound like you're already working in that company, like using action words, using keywords also. Like, it's very, very important to understand the use of keywords, especially when you are maybe pitching yourself to somebody or pitching yourself in an interview room. It's very important we are able to put all of this together. Number three is ensuring that the CV is visually appealing. The fronts, the design, the text. It's important we're able to ensure that we have all of this, aligning with one another. Some people will have their CV and they use different fronts for the first paragraph. The next one is another front, and it's not looking very good. And one interesting thing that that a lot of people do is also to send CV in Word documents, which I think sometimes is not the right thing to do, because if you send your CV in Word documents, the person that received the document might receive it in a wrong format. You possibly have your name bigger than the whole thing, or maybe the person system is not updated, right? It's not using an updated version of a laptop, and then you send your CV to them in Word documents. It will possibly come out in a very, very, very unorganized form. So you possibly have to convert that CV to PDF. I think PDF makes it better and also helps you to make reference to activities that you have documented or that you have done, that you can read more online. I'm still going to talk about this as we keep progressing, so we can look at action points to take out from all of this that I've said. So how do we excel in interviews? The first thing I said when we started was to talk about research. Research is very important. Like, a lot of people just walk into interview rooms without preparing. They don't even know the name of the company they are. They just, we got this interview mail or something, and then you're ready to go. And then you just walk into the place without properly researching the organization's products, what they do, if it's service they offer, like, what has been their success rate so far? Why are they employing me? What is going to be my goal? All of this will help you to have the right thing to say during your interview. It's very important to prepare for interviews, by doing research and also researching thoroughly about the roles that we are applying for. I think this is a very important thing to do. And number two is to constantly practice before going in for the interview. Constant practice. You know, no man is an island. Even me speaking to you this morning, I try to practice, you know, this morning when I woke up, and I try to go through my slide and try to, you know, think of what I'm going to say, you know, which is not a bad thing to do, really. Like, practice make perfect. You possibly have to consistently practice to become perfect in that thing that you're trying to do. So practicing questions, get people to you know, run different interviews with you to help you prepare yourself for the major thing, right? And number three is to demonstrate professionalism, demonstrate confidence, professionalism, and positive attitude. Another thing I'm going to add to this is also like you dressing very well, like going for an interview and you are well organized, you are very bold, you know, with the way you engage and speak to the potential employer, right? You know, professionalism, you know, the way people go for interview and they walk into the room with a bottle of Coke, you know, on their hand. It shows that you are possibly not ready for that interview. Like, you possibly should have, even if you're hungry, you don't have to show it in front of the person that is trying to employ you, you know, you holding a bottle of Coke or not dressing properly, your notes or whatever you are with is looking, you know, not too good, right? So it's important we have the right attitude, professionalism, you know, to help us get the attention of the people. Imagine you're going for a job that over, let's say, 50 people have applied for, and they have shortlisted the 50 people for the job, right? So what separates it from the other 49 is something you have to continue to think about. You know, I remember one of my interviews a few years ago, I decided to buy a suit. But even if I didn't get the job, you know, I went out and I got a suit, and you know, I was so excited. You know, in fact, I was asking myself, wait, I hope I'm not looking too expensive. You know, but that is the mindset. That is how you have to approach all of this, because it's a matter of, you know, you presenting yourself. And it's the way you present yourself, that is the way people will interpret you. Number four is prepare questions. Prepare questions for the interview to show interest in the role. Like, you don't just walk into a room and without asking questions. You know, when you are done with the interview, you want to ask them questions, you know, like maybe how do you think I can help? What do you think I can do? You know, I have this idea. You know, one of the most interesting interview I've gone for is to tell them how I think the company can move from point A to point B in their sales. And the CEO of the company was looking at me and was like, okay, even if you don't have much experience on the job, we're going to recruit you. And that's how I got that job. And I didn't even have experience at all, right? You know, they gave me the job because I came with a strategy. I came with an idea on how to, you know, on how they can increase sales, on how they can increase, you know, the numbers of users and all of that. And that was really interesting for the CEO of the company, who was with us during the interview. You know, so you have to prepare questions, you know, ask not just questions about salary, because a lot of people are really, you know, they want to know how much am I, you know, after the interview, like, how much are you going to pay me? You know, that makes you look like somebody that is very desperate, right? Even if you're going to talk about money, you possibly want to sell value. You want the people that you're talking to know that this person is not just here to take our money, but the person is bringing a lot of value on board. So developing key soft skills is also very, very important. Communication skills, you know, like I mentioned earlier, you must be able to speak. You must be able to tell us about yourself in 1 minute. You know, there's what we call the elevator pitch. You know, you must, when you meet, for example, you meet somebody who is a potential employer, what do you tell the person and how do you pitch yourself to this person? So this person can give you at least a minute of their time. You know, communication skills is very, very, very important. I think I can't overemphasize that. We have to learn how to speak publicly, public speaking, communication, effective communication. You know, we possibly have to read more about it. You know, there's a lot of videos on YouTube. I mean, if you just put how to improve my communication skills on YouTube, you're going to see more than 5,000 videos. You know, let's leverage YouTube. YouTube is like a major place for development resources, not just to spend time on social media. You know, I think platforms like YouTube has a lot to offer. You know, short videos that can help you prepare your speech, that can help you package your presentations, communications, you know, how to actively listening to people, how to maintain eye contact. People talk to you sometimes and you're looking on the ground, like you're in an interview room and you can't look at the faces of those interviewing you. Then there's a problem of trust, right? The person is looking at it like, I don't think we can trust this person. If you can't maintain eye contact with me, then there's a problem, right? So we have to learn all these ethics. It's very important because the body language communicates to that this person is ready for the job or this person have the capacity, to do the job. Number two is teamwork, your ability to collaborate with people is also very, very, very essential. And these are some of the things we can learn by volunteering, by going for internship. And I think one of the most interesting things young people can look forward to do is to, even if you are not well paid, I'm sure, a lot of people want all the money, right? But internship gives you like the platform to try, to fail and try. You work with people. I think one of the most amazing things that have happened to me is my internship here in school. Like I had the opportunity of interning with Center for International Private Enterprise, a SIPE, they call them SIPE. It's a US-based non-profit. They came to my school and they requested for students, and then my HOD called me and said, oh, Julius, we're sending you to this organization to go for interview. And then I got there and I discovered that it's like a US-based organization, and I saw the US flag. I was like, okay, what's happening here? And they picked me for the program, interviewing, I think, 16 or 20 students from different faculty, and I was the only one that was picked for that job. I know when I resumed, I was asking the country director, like, why did you guys pick me? I just want to know, because I don't even have the skill that you need. And she said something. She said, we're able to connect what you said with what you're doing. Right? So it's in the place of doing, you sometimes gain clarity. So while I was in school, I used to volunteer for the Christian Association. I was very active with the school association. So I know how to do presentation. I know how to speak. I speak to students. I also have the skill to set up microphones for lecturers. I'm able to set up your mic, especially for lecturers, old lecturers who cannot speak loud, right? So all of these are just things that I started doing without even knowing that I was gaining experience, So sharing all of those things with them during the interview, they were able to connect what I was doing in school with what they are doing and how I can also help improve their work as an organization. And that's how I got that opportunity. And it's a life-changing opportunity for me. I think that is, where my dreams changed, because my dream was to become an accountant. But I don't know, right now I'm not an accountant, but I'm making significant impact in my community and I'm super excited about it. So let's learn how to be someone that is able to work with people, collaboration, ability to solve problem. People walk into a room and they ask you, how can you help us solve this problem? What can you do? If you have not been solving problem in your house, in your community, at that place of work, or wherever you find yourself, you will not have that skill. And problem solving skill is basically a mind thing. Like my ability to innovate, my ability to think of a way of communicating this or communicating that, right? My ability of to help other people get these things done better. So problem solving skills, critical thinking, finding solutions are highly valued. It's important we are able to solve problems, right? Just have that mind, like I'm a problem solver, and you're able to communicate the problems you have solved. And this problem might be during your NYC years. Maybe you dig the bore in one community, in one village, and now you help like the community to access good water, right? That is a form of problem solving. You have solved the problem in that community. In school, maybe you help your lecturers to set up the microphone. You have solved a problem for them because they need to communicate, right? Or you created Google Form to make the signing up of students very easy, right? In the classroom, or taking attendance. Instead of you writing on paper, you just send the link to them on their WhatsApp group and they fill it. That is a form of problem solving, because now the class captain or whoever will not need paper anymore, right? Or you're able to help your teachers to create assessments, objectification using simple Google form. That is a form of problem solving, because you have helped the person who is in need to get a solution without breaking a sweat. So the last one is adaptability, like your ability to adapt changing environments. As you see today, we are in a world where people work from home now. Like I have a lot of friends that possibly they're one corner of their room right now in different meetings across the world, right? And they're just there with a boxer, right? People are not, the world is changing really fast. And like I'm speaking on this platform now, I think I can see close to maybe 20 to 25 centers joining this program live from different parts. Some places I've never even visited in my life. I'm currently speaking from Ikeja now, and everybody's hearing me. These are some of the things that is changing in the workplace. Working from home, people learning how to use some tools like Zoom, Google Meet, and all of that. So if you are somebody that is not flexible to change, you just want the traditional way. I have to dress up in the morning and wear suits, blah, blah, blah. I go to the office, sit down at my desk. Brother, things have changed. You possibly don't even need a suit anymore, right? You just have to do your work and do it right. I know a lot of people, a lot of young people these days that they have not seen their colleague they don't even know their colleague. They only know them on Zoom, right? So your ability to change, I was reading an article recently that was published by IREX, and the article talked about the power learners. When I continue to read that document, discovered that the world is going to need more people who are called the power learners. And these power learners are people who are able to adapt on the job, who are able to shift their perspective about their work, right? It's not just going to be the one-way thing, right? Right now, there is Slack. People track work on Slack. You do Zoom meetings you do virtual meetings on Slack. There's a lot of tools that you can use to track effectiveness and the way people work in the office right now than, seeing them physically and seeing if they're on their system. You don't need them. You need to see anybody, like to see some people at work, right? So the power learners are the people who are going to be needed in the future of works, right? People who have the ability to learn new things on the job. People who have the ability to make decisions, ability to collaborate, ability to try new things. For example, I was speaking to my sister. I told her to design a CV, and I told her, don't send me document, just open a Google Doc and then send it and add my email to it so I can see what you are doing. And she's like, no, let me go and print it out. I said, if you print it out, you're on your own, I won't see it. Things are changing. People are moving, whatever they do traditionally to like digitally, so that perspective, the mind needs to also change. And we also possibly need to continue to read and consume books, as much as we can, so we can at least continue to work on our minds to make it very flexible and adaptive to any situation we find ourselves. So networking and personal branding, I think this is one of the most interesting part of this slide, and I'm somebody who has mastered the act of networking. If you ask anybody around me, they tell you Julius knows at least one person in one place. And it's something I've intentionally taken over time. Any place I find myself, I build quality relationship. I'm able to connect and speak about myself, whether you like it or not. Once I discover that you are valuable to me, forget it. I'm going to chase you. You'll see me in your dreams. I'm going to follow up with you. And it's something that I think a lot of young people these days don't want to get involved in. Everybody just sits with their phone. Going for your phone all that meeting is not something that I think is good. You possibly have to engage with people, talk about yourself, present yourself. So networking and personal branding is becoming like another interesting approach to getting opportunity, right? I'm going to share one thing that happened to me last year while I was in the US for the Mandalorian Fellowship. So I made a post on LinkedIn about my selection for the program. And I one of the global directors for SIPE in Washington. He was like, he just entered my DM and said, hi, Julius. Oh, congratulations. I'm happy you're in DC. Would you mind coming to our office to meet some of the African division, the African team? I'm like, okay, why not? And then I WhatsApp number. And that was just it. LinkedIn, from just LinkedIn post. And I find myself, in an office where you possibly have to book appointments. And I had meetings with the entire global team, talking to them about African challenges and how they can, create a solution to help young people, get access to opportunities and all of that. And it's in the place of networking. Like networking may not even be physical now, it can be online, right? How you tell your stories online is also very important. A lot of people who attend events, like my number one slide there talks about events. They go for events and they just sit on their own. They're just in one corner, trying to think of different things they're supposed to be thinking of while they're at home. They are not present in those events. They are not connecting with people. Your network is your strength. The people you have access to is what determines the jobs that come. I tell a lot of people that one of the most interesting jobs I've gotten in my life was from a friend. I went for the event and I met him and I stayed in touch, and I'm like, oh, sir, is there anything I can help you with? Is this, that? And that's how we continue to talk. And when the opportunity came, he just sent me a message. He said, Julius, I have this role in my company, and I think you are going to be the best fit for this job. You don't need any interview. Tell me already. Let me send you a letter. And that's how I got the job. No interview thing. It was just a message, from this so-called person I met in this, event. So attending events, we have to be more intentional by building professional relationships. The job you're looking for. Maintain online presence. This is very, very, very important. My name is Ilori _Julius on Instagram. You can quickly check me out and just go through my page on Instagram. I'm sure you're going to be like, wow. I am super intentional about how I put myself on social media. Like, you can never see a picture of me maybe drinking beer or something. Never. I am corporately dressed. Almost anything you see online about me possibly be like an event, program, project. I'm here, I'm doing this, speaking, doing that. Because that is what I want the people to see about me. I want people to be able to learn more from what I do, right? So I'm very intentional about my online presence. LinkedIn is becoming a very powerful tool to tell our stories. Like talking about what you have done today, putting it online, and you see a lot of people will connect with it using the right hashtags. And one thing I also want to say is that maintaining online presence simply may not mean just posting. You can run a blog in your name. We have the WordPress platform, which is free, for students. WordPress student profile, you open a WordPress profile, student profile, it's free of charge. You don't need to pay for it. Just be ilorijulius.wordpress blog or whatever. And then you start writing about things that interest you, maybe in education or in human resource, in artificial intelligence, anything that you're passionate about, or anything you seek opportunity in, like you seek opportunity in a certain sector and you want to contribute to the conversation around it. So blogs are one of the best way to communicate, right? Because it profile you as someone become a thought leader, right? And one thing that online or blogging does for you is that it documents whatever you have done. So if you make a post, maybe you made a post today, in the next 10 years, if they check you out, it's going to be there. People will see it. It's going to show them the time, the date, the location, right? So these are some of the easy ways to profile ourselves online. Write a publication, write something. I think if you're going to publish maybe in The Guardian or this Day or The Punch, maybe like 30,000 about some of the things you're interested in. Your picture of yourself and your name. For example, if you Google my name now, Ilori Julius, just try it. You're going to see not less than 6 to 7 publications by This Day, or maybe Business Day, right? Or Punch. So I try much as possible to put myself in the news, right? So when you continue to see you on credible platforms, they trust you more. So when you have 100 people applying for a role, applying for this opportunity, and somebody is able to find you online, they do their online search and what they gather about you is fantastic. Trust me, you have edge over other people, right? You can be doing the good work, but nobody can track you online. You will not get that job. Nobody wants to give a job to a robot, right? So maintaining online presence, not just by posting about your parties, it's good to post about parties, be very intentional about the audience you want to build, and you may not even get the likes that you want right now, but the consistency of doing that, you will discover that people will start to follow you, they'll start to like your post, and they start to like invite you for programs. I get a lot of invitations online, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, like a lot of invitations, a lot of messages. One of the recent recognition I got from the Lagos State government was something from Instagram. Somebody saw my page on Instagram and the person recommended me among the 30 young people in Lagos State that is doing incredible work in education and human resource, something like that. And I was invited to meet the governor. I didn't even know how my mail got out there. I just got the mail. I'm invited to this hotel in Ikoyi. I can't remember the name right now. Whitbeck Hotel, yes. And I continued to ask the person, I said, sorry, how did you get my information? And it's like, oh, like somebody saw you online and then recommended you and we're able to track you. And that was it. And that's how I met governor, right? So imagine maybe the governor needs to share money now. That's where I would have collected money. You know, so these things are very, imagine they find my picture online, maybe half naked, right? People will look at me and be like, okay, I don't think this guy is serious. So you have to be very intentional about things you put online, because the internet does not forget. You know, you are looking for a job in an oil company and everything about you online is about Big Brother Nigeria. I really hope you get a job, you know. You know, so these are some of the things we possibly have to work on, because TikTok, all of these social platforms have strong algorithms, and immediately they put your name out there, it's going to pop up. So you want them to see good things about you. And that's why I mentioned blogging, and also LinkedIn also has a feature for writing now. Like, you're able to publish your newsletters on LinkedIn and people will follow your page and they will continue to read about it. And once they find it engaging, they invite you for intellectual discourse. You know, you see people doing like conversations on Zoom, on LinkedIn, I mean, something like Zoom, collaborate and talk about something very interesting. You know, so it's very important we are very intentional about getting, especially if you're thinking of not just Nigeria. If you're thinking of not just Nigeria, a global, you're fighting for position on the global stage, you possibly have to be very visible online. Seek mentorship. This is very important. You know, through platforms like the American Spaces, there's a lot of mentorship programs that happens. Connect and seek mentorship, career advice, mentorship, and so on. And the last one is sharing knowledge. Whatever you have learned, continue to share knowledge. I think sharing knowledge will attract the right audience to you. You know, when you talk about something very interesting to you, something you're passionate, for example, AI in education or AI in the next 20 years, what is AI going to look like in the next 20 years? Conversations like that will get the attention of people. If you're interested in that AI, I mean, I'm not saying you should write about AI if you're not interested in AI. Something you're interested in, you know, and then you write about it. For me, I'm interested more in education technology, human capital development, workforce planning. So anything you see about me online is going to be around this, you know. So share knowledge, you know, like after this program, I think I'm going to make a post on LinkedIn or Instagram about this, that Ilori Julius was so at the American corner, and I had the opportunity of speaking to not less than, I don't know how many numbers, I'm sure Mr. Dini will help me with that. Do you get using the hashtag, you know, the American Spaces and all of that, you see the traction that comes with it because people identify with things like this, right? So let's move to the last slide. I think this is my last slide. Leveraging digital tools, online platforms like Coursera, Udemy to upskill. There's a lot of free course on Coursera, a lot of free course. There's one I was even going through recently, the introduction of AI is on Coursera also. Check it out. I think it's free. But maybe this application is not free, but I think it's free. You know, look out for free platforms you can use to upskill yourself. You know, job search platforms to get jobs, LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Indeed, and so on. You know, you can have a personal website, right? I don't know if I can put my website right now for people to see, but I have a personal website, and it was done by AI. I did not engage anybody. Okay, my friend helped me to pay for hosting and all of that. And I didn't spend up to 50,000 naira. But I have a Julius.info, right? You see everything about me on that website. It's AI that created it. I didn't pay any developer, but anybody to code, nobody code anything. And it happened in less than 3 hours, right? So if you have a website, just imagine the kind of traction you get when you talk to somebody, I'm looking for an appointment, this is a brief about me, this is my portfolio, check me out. They will know that you're a serious person and they'll possibly want to support and help you. So in conclusion, we have to look into the comprehensive approach, you know, to unlocking opportunities that we are looking out for as young professionals. Enhancing employability requires a combination of strategic job search efforts, building strong resume, excelling in interviews, and continuously developing skills. You know, we must continue to push, we must continue to try, and also unlocking opportunities by leveraging these tools. Young professionals can unlock rewarding career opportunities and contribute meaningfully to their field. Thank you so much. I think that is the end of my presentation. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Julius. Can we give a round of applause to him? So we'll be taking questions from our spaces. If you have questions, you can raise your virtual hand. While we are waiting for questions from the spaces, let me ask you the first question. What specific skills are currently in high demand within the job market? And how can young people effectively acquire and demonstrate these skills to potential employers?
All right, Ma, thank you so much for this question. I think it's a very important question. The world is moving really fast towards data. And one of the most interesting things you can do with your time is maybe going to data science, right? Data analysis, for every of these platforms, every of the businesses, they need to make decisions, about setting strategy or whatever they want to do with their product. So data science, for me, if you ask me, I'm to mention that as very important field to go into, because the world is definitely going to need more people to help make decisions in the next few years, right? Number two is cybersecurity. There is high rate of tech businesses now across the world. So businesses will face a lot of cyber attacks. Businesses will face a lot of problems through like hacking and all of that. So your ability to be able to help solve this problem for bigger opportunities. For example, let's just even look at the SME communities alone. Like you have a lot of people who don't have website before. A lot of businesses don't have website. In the last 5 years, I'm sure most SMEs don't even think of website. But now it's a must because people online want to buy from you. People buy food online now. Before you have to go to Mama Put. I still go to Mama Put personally. I visit, right? But I can easily get order food from certain apps online without stress, and the delivery person comes and delivers me. So cybersecurity is going to be very important. I think it's one important area to look into. Machine learning also is going to be like an important area that will attract a lot of opportunities, around artificial intelligence and all of that. So apart from all of these skills that I've mentioned, you also possibly have to learn how to collaborate with people. I think that is also very important. How to collaborate with people is also very important in positioning for opportunities, how to solve problem solving. And one of the ways you can easily start getting these things done is to seek internship, right? Even before getting into the market, you can start as an intern, as an associate in any company that is willing to give you opportunity, and you possibly may not even be paid for a start. But that access to people, the access to community, access to free internet, laptops, and all of that, it's valuable. Like you got to really, really maximize all of these things and use it to make more informed decisions. A lot of people can say they want to do software development, right? Software development is another interesting thing, that you can look into, but you eventually may not become a software developer, but you can find another pathway, maybe in front end, designing or UI, UX and all of that. So I think the tech space is possibly going to be based on your interests and how you're able to approach it based on the information you have. I think that will really help you to make more informed decision about how you're going to go about it, rather than just going deep down into one certain field. But I think so far so good. In the next future, we're definitely going to have more tech roles, more tech jobs, like I've mentioned, machine learning and all of that. So it's going to be nice to have young people think about all of this and also do a lot of research about it. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. So I have a virtual hand in Uyo. Please, can you unmute and ask your question?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Ma.
Can you hear me? Julius, good morning. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. One of our participants here also have a question, but I'll give the first one. Majority of the people in our space right now, which you saw earlier, are IT students. I want you to please maybe throw more light or enlighten them the place of IT, like this industrial training, in employment or in employability. And for such ITs that are short-term, which at the end of the day, they might not get certification or something physical to show. How do they incorporate it into probably their CV or into their, I don't know, personal experience towards getting employment? Do you get that?
Yes, I think
Okay, and I'll give room to, Okay, I'll give room to Prince to also say give his question.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
Good morning. Okay, I'm Prince from Oyo. My question goes thus, please, how can students combine online presence, that's being on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn? How can they combine this with studies? Thank you very much.
Please, can you ask the question again? We didn't get the question, please.
Okay, I'm asking, please, how can students combine online presence, that is being active on Facebook, Instagram, and other platforms? How can it be combined with studying effectively as a student?
How can it be combined? Okay, like social media activities and your studies. All right, so let me start from
Yes.
Let me start from, okay, let me take it from your question. Thank you so much for that question. I think that's a very important question. So I think everything in life, you possibly have to plan yourself, you know. And like I said, I'm not going to tell you to spend your time on social media, right? No. What I've said is being able to maximize the benefit of being on social media, right? For example, maybe you have sessions every day in class. I know you do that. Maybe once or twice, you possibly want to write a blog post in a week. Let's say once a week, right? That will not take you so much. It won't take so much of your time, right? It will not take so much of your time. And the idea of this is to communicate that thing that is interesting to you, right? And it's even going to be more interesting. The earlier, the better you start, the more you're able to build that very impressive track record online. So you don't have to spend all your time online. I don't know the class you are right now, but I don't think you should spend all your time online, but try to maximize the timing by creating a goal for what you want to achieve. You know, do you want to watch videos on how to speak publicly or speak with confidence? Maybe 30 minutes or 1 hour of your time every day can help. And then there is a lot of resources on YouTube, like I mentioned earlier, that you can start to check out what is going to be the future of works. How do I position, how do I even learn about this SpaceX and all of those interesting things that is happening right now? And how can I become somebody that is going to be useful to my. So these are some of the things I think you should be thinking about. It will really help, not just by posting party enjoyment online, So create a plan around it and ask yourself, what do I want to achieve? What you want to achieve, how you go about it. So I really hope I answered your question. And then the other question is around the placement of IT, how students can maximize IT to gain employment. Yeah, I think IT is like one of the most amazing platforms that is out there. Like me, I went to Polytechnic, I went to Yale College of Technology, and I think our 1-year IT program is super amazing. I think it's one of those that really shaped me into who I am becoming today. And I think for I use those things and I use it to improve. One of the things I did during my IT was the office gave us this assignment. They call it the newspaper review. So we read not less than 3 newspapers every day and we analyze key points about the nation, right? Something interesting about our work, maybe employment, youth development. So I summarize it in like a document, let's say 2-3 pages, and then I share it with my supervisor, and then it looks through and it rates whatever I'm doing. So that really helped me to build my ability to write well, ability to make sound judgments, because the more you read, the more you make sound judgment about things, not just to speak on and say, oh, this thing is bad. No, because it gives you a lot of information, it gives you a lot of things to think about, right? So using your IT year very well, or going for, even from secondary school, I think it's going to be very interesting for us to start thinking of going for IT, or even if it's 1 month internship. Don't let us call it IT, let's say internship, right? That will open our minds to how the work community is operating and how you can build relationship with people, working in the workspace with different people. It fits your mind with the possibility of what you can also become, and it also helps you to gather experience, to meet new people. I'm really hopeful that one day in Nigeria, we are going to start posting young people from secondary school to go on 1 month's IT or internship, during their secondary, maybe SS1 to SS3, maybe during that time. I mean, that year in school, between SS1 and SS3, you are expected to spend at least maybe 30 hours or something in the workplace. I think these are some of the things that I think will happen in the nearest future, because that is one way we can help people prepare for the future of works. We can help them gain access to opportunities. So, has to do with you yourself preparing yourself to every opportunity that comes your way. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Julius. We have a question in the chat box from American Corner Calabar. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What are the key skills and qualities that employers look for in today's job market? Then let me take the last one from Benin City Window in America. What is the name of the site for students to publish articles?
All right. Thank you so much, Ma. I think one of the most interesting skills right now that a lot of employers are looking for is your ability to learn on the job, your ability to learn and improve, right? Because it's very important to be an adaptive learner, somebody who is able to get better over time, and I said that much earlier in my presentation, that the fixed mindset is not too good. I mean, I don't think it's okay for you to have your mind is just ability to allow people to say their mind, understanding opinion and not be biased with whatever you are trying to push out there. Your ability to collaborate, your ability to communicate, emotional intelligence. These are some key skills employers are looking out for, because any other thing you can learn and improve, right? Apart from the key technical skills, like maybe software development and all, even as a software developer, you must be very disciplined, to be able to achieve your to set goals and achieve them, to get things done, to be able to understand how you're able to really, really position yourself for your career growth or whatever you want to achieve. So I think being someone who is able to learn is something that will really, really help you become an adaptive learner. And I think you should read more about the power learners. Just put it online and learn more about the power learner. It's going to explain more about some of the skills a power learner needs to have to be successful in the workplace. So I think these are some of the things that just come to my mind right now. And then the second question is majorly around the sites for students to publish articles. So I mentioned WordPress. Just check WordPress.com. You're able to open a student account, and then you're able to start blogging as like write and publish. And then you can possibly also share it on Facebook. You can share it on any other social media platform, like my post or engage with my publication or so link, and then you copy and paste the link. You can do that also on your WhatsApp status. A lot of people, I mean, some of us have more than 100 people checking our status every day. So
let's hold it a moment. American Corner Ikeja. All right.
Hello, can you hear me now?
So we were talking about status. Posting on our WhatsApp status.
Yes. Posting on WhatsApp status. I mean, like I said, some of us here, I'm sure you have more than 100 people viewing your status daily. That is a very good place to start engaging people. When you copy the link and then you put it there, People read your stuff and then they give you feedback. So I think these are some of the easy way to go about it. I really hope all I've shared is useful. Thank you.
All right. I can see hands up in Maiduguri. Please, can you unmute and quickly ask your question?
Good morning.
Good morning.
My question goes like this. As a fresh graduate university, you are graduating and you don't have any work experience or skills. I know when writing a CV or resume, you must have a specific skills or experience that are required. So how can you go about that?
Yes, thank you so much for that question. That's an important question also. Sorry, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. Yes. As a fresh graduate, I think one of the things that you can start to do, maybe during your service year, you want to volunteer to work. I mean, I'm sure a lot of us have done stuff during our service year. Maybe you teach. That's also a form of experience, right? It's a form of experience. You participated in different community projects. It's a form of experience. It's just how you tell the story is what matters. And another thing you can do is to even start by volunteering your faculty, maybe your lecturers out, to do one or two administrative work. That's also a bit of experience. Imagine you are working, volunteering in maybe department of account or business administration or any of the departments, and you are there as a support staff, for maybe like 6 months, helping them out to do some of the administrative work. You have successfully gained a 6 months administrative experience, right? I think we have to just find a way around this to gain experience. You possibly don't have to jump out of work and then jump out of school and then you immediately start working. You possibly have to build more experience with some of these things I've said, like going to department to volunteer, volunteering maybe in your mosque or your church, wherever you find yourself, and you're able to tell the stories. You're able to put it out properly on your CV. That you did this during your time here. I think with that, and then there's also a lot of opportunities online to work remotely, to volunteer with a lot of people. I'm sure the American Corner, I don't know if the American Corner takes people who volunteers to like support their program. Yeah, I mean, that's also a way of volunteering, coming here to like support what they do at the American Corner, learning how programs are done, learning how programs like this are organized, concept notes development, budgeting, and all of that. Those are some of the things you possibly want to spend your time doing, so you can at least gain new knowledge, gain experience, and also gain new network. Thank you.
So the key word there, Maiduguri, you should be intentional. Don't wait till you graduate before you start volunteering and doing some work so that you have experience to write in your CV. So we have the last question from American Corner Calabar. Please kindly unmute and go straight to your question.
Good morning. My name is Jonathan. My question is, what are the mistakes that young people should avoid when they are in interviews? What kind of question?
I can't hear you.
So he's asking, what are the mistakes that young people make when they go for interview that they should avoid?
All right. Thank you so much again for the question. I think that's an important question also. I mentioned this during my presentation. It was in my slide. One of the mistakes I think people make is they don't research well about the organization they are, trying to get the job from. Like they don't research, they don't know some of the things they do, right? Which I think is not a good practice. So it's important you learn more, like comprehensive research about the organization, about what they do, about why they even want to employ a new staff, right? That will help you to handle. Right. That is another thing I think people don't do. Like you possibly have to prepare for that interview properly, and also showing up with confidence, well dressed, and also ask questions, from your potential employers. So I think these are things we need to do and to gain opportunities or to gain the job or to gain access to anything we want from any organization that we're applying to. I hope you got that.
We lost the second point you made.
Hello, can you say that again?
The second point you made, we lost that.
Yes.
And
in preparing for the interview.
what do they do to prepare for interviews? That was the second question.
Hello, can you hear us?
We can hear you.
All right. Please recap the question again, please.
And my question is, what are the steps they should take to prepare for the interviews?
All right. Like I said earlier, I mentioned this in my presentation. You have to do a lot of research about the organization you're in. Organization to know what to do. You joining the team can improve the work and also help them achieve their goals. So research is number one. Okay, I can say it now. Research is number one. Research properly about the organization. Practice, before the interview. Practice before the interview. Consistently practice over and over, right? Number three is to go with confidence and you should be very organized. If you are going with your documents, ensure that they are in the right files, they are well arranged, and you are well dressed, you are well presented, right? To the people that will interview you, right? I think that's number three. And then number four, like speaking with confidence, speaking up, confidence is key. People must be able to trust you, maintaining eye contact to your employers, speaking up, speaking boldly, not, speaking gently. Like you have to be bold. They must hear you clearly. And also, the last thing I mentioned, I can't remember right now, but I know I said something around you being able to also ask questions. Yes, I remember now, like asking questions. So after the interview, don't just walk away and say, okay, thank you. You should prepare questions for them also. Ask questions that can help them also understand your perspective and why you are very useful or why they need to employ you. So ask very intelligent questions. I think with these few points, you will do very well with the interview. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Julius, for this session. It's been very enlightening and educative. I would like to hand over to Mr. Samuel Ejitayo, our colleague.
Hi, Julius. How are you? Thank you very much for honoring our invitation. And you have not disappointed us. I enjoyed everything. It was as if I should have the opportunity of seeking for employment again. But that's totally, I'm very late for me. But for those of us who are young and aspiring, I would like you in the next few days, please visit our YouTube channel or our Facebook page and listen to this again and again and again. And I also noticed something apart from Maiduguri and some people from Uyo. Some of us are not writing anything. We're just listening. We're not writing things. I don't know how you think you are going to remember everything that has been said. So when you come for sessions like this, you're expected to write things down. Just please mute yourself. I'm getting a feedback.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so when you I think you are getting me. I have been opportune to look at a lot of applications, resumes. I've sat at interviews at several levels, and I can tell you for free that what Julius shared with you are very, very important. And what I'm grateful to Julius for is the fact that he used his life stories to convey the lessons he was getting across to you. How I wish you can get this right. You know, there are a lot of try and error. But the truth of the matter is, if you could get this from somebody who has gone through, then you don't need to make the same mistakes. Let me give you an instance. He said something about networking, and many of us are not good networkers. Many of us, you don't relate with people. You have opportunity of sitting with big people. Let me start even from your church. Let me start from your mosque. Even you go to social gatherings, even greet, some of you will not. Then when you now need help, you say, excuse me, sir, can I? No. You greet the person, you warm your way into the heart of the person. I'm telling you, what he said is very critical. I got to this position because of networking. I offered free services. I care less about whether somebody is using me or not. Mine was just to help and to acquire skills. Many of you are there in the university, you have spare time. Rather than you developing your skills, taking courses. He has mentioned Coursera, there's Udemy, there's edX. There's so many of them out there, and you have American spaces close to you. Go and take those courses. Imagine you going for an interview, and on your resume or CV, you have 200 courses that you have taken. 200 before you graduated. And then here is somebody who just came with nothing. Who do you think is going to be considered? Let me give you this example, and I'm going to stop. My son went for an internship interview. And by that time, before the time, I've been telling him, take some of these courses. This is going to, this, that. So as you yourself, you will do. Well, let me just get this man out of my back. And he took about 10 of them or so. Is it 10 or so? Yeah, more than 10. And I also pushed him also to publish on Amazon. He was able to publish 2 books there. Before he graduated, he was still an intern then. So he went for this interview, very reputable law firm. And when he got there, when he saw everything, he said, number 1 question, how were you able to manage to take all these courses along with your schoolwork? Then he told them. How are you able to write this? And he told them. And I said, by the way, where did you get all these courses from? Who paid for them? And guess what? He got the job. He got the internship. Very reputable place. And that played a critical role when he got out and where he was supposed to work. So I want you to listen to this again and again. If you don't have access to internet anywhere, come back to this space. Ask the director, please, I would like to listen to this again and again. I will employ you. Listen to it up to 20 times. How many times, everybody? Can you shout it? How many times?
20 times.
I'm telling you this. If you know how I'm so happy and glad for what Julius has given to you today, then you will appreciate why I said you should listen to it 20 times. But you know what? They said after lectures like this, it's only about 7% of people that will actually make use of what has been taught. 7%, 7 out of 100. Are you going to be part of the 7%? So I want to thank Julius for this. You know, you fired me up, Julius. You can see that I've started talking. And if not because of time, I could go overboard with this because I'm very passionate about what you have said, and I'm really appreciative of what you have done. And for all of you who have come, thank you very much. We have a lot of programs lined up for you this particular week. On Wednesday, we have a program on elections. Many of you, you know for sure there's going to be US election in November. We want you to come and have a prelude of what US election system is all about. It's on Wednesday where you are seated. So please invite your friends. And then on Thursday, guess what? We're bringing a super diplomat who is going to come and sit with you, and you can ask any question. We're not talking about political issues, and so we're talking about who exactly is a diplomat, what's their lifestyle, what do they like, what prompted them to take that line of career. You know, we want you to come and really interact with them. And I wish many of you will invite your friends and come and be part of this session. So I want to thank everybody once again. All the directors, I can see the director in Kano seated there. Thank you very much for mobilizing people. We want more and more people to come and benefit from this. Thank you. And we say bye-bye to you. Let's clap for Julius for a wonderful job he has done today. Thank you very much. And bye-bye. And see you. Bye. See you on Wednesday. Bye.
That's where we see you.